Another big result in the Champions League this week that I'm not sure that many would have expected, or at least our Stewart Robson. Chelsea thrashing Barcelona at Stamford Bridge by 3-0. And this weekend, it's another big task for Chelsea, as it's the small matter of a London derby, as Arsenal will be facing Chelsea this weekend. And these are the predictions. Everyone except for Frank Leboeuf, shock, have gone for an Arsenal win. Craig?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. Arsenal are a better side, better in every position. Chelsea was a really good result against Barcelona, but Barcelona are horrendous defensively. Arsenal not. I think Chelsea can cause them some problems. I think midfield's going to be really interesting because Chelsea are strong in there, got some good players. Maybe Reece James will step in again. Who knows? You know, Caicedo, Zubimendi, you know, Enzo Fernandez, Declan Rice was great the other night again. You know, really dynamic. I think the midfield's going to be key for them. You know, can Saka push back Cucurella? All that sort of stuff. Can he? You know, these one-on-one battles. But ultimately, Arsenal are stronger in every position. And,
I'm just going to pick Craig up on one position. Okay. One position I think that Chelsea is stronger. Caicedo, I think, is a better player than Zubimendi. But in all the other positions, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm not.
Cucurella?
No. I wasn't talking about individuals.
Yeah. All around the team.
Yeah. I was talking about, you know, I take Arsenal's midfield, take Arsenal's back four, take the front line. But I think Caicedo's a different player to Zubimendi. I think Zubimendi's a little bit more under the radar. Caicedo's more physical about the way he goes about it, breaks the game up a little bit more. Maybe Zubimendi a little tidier on the ball. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it's.
And Frank just shouted out Cucurella, I could hear in the background, better than maybe Calafiori or Lewis. Certainly better than Lewis Skelly at the moment.
I like Calafiori.
Yeah, me too.
Frank, you went for Chelsea, though.
The thing is that, yes, I went for Chelsea because, I should have gotten the same result as you did, guys. You know, because when we all predict the same thing, you know, normally it happens the opposite. But realistically, I don't want no race. I want Arsenal to have trouble. I want to enjoy the Premier League. I don't want to see that being too easy. And Chelsea deserves some credit. And you don't win randomly against Barcelona. Even if Barcelona doesn't do well, yes, it's going to be different with Arsenal, but you don't win like that and keep on winning like that with, against some of the teams without, getting some credits. And you never know. It's going to be at Stamford Bridge. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Arsenal, they can struggle with players like Estevao and Neto, very fast, small players and very skillful. You can have a surprise. And I want to believe that my former blue team can do something who makes a race interesting.
Darke, how impressed are you by Chelsea against Barcelona this week?
Very impressed. I thought they absolutely battered Barcelona and completely exposed that high line that they were playing, a high line without any pressing going with it, which I think compounded Barcelona's problems in the game. That's another issue. I think Chelsea-Arsenal, I mean, it's an interesting game. I mean, I'm predicting Arsenal because they keep finding a way to get things done. They can win in different ways, as Stuart was saying earlier on in the programme. I do think Chelsea are coming of age, so my prediction isn't a completely confident one. I'm just thinking of that recent game where Sunderland gave the Arsenal defence a few problems in that 2-2 draw. So I think it's going to be a very tight game, not much in it at all, but the way Arsenal have gone this season, you'd probably always want to be on them. Could Chelsea win? Yeah, sure.
Get it, you know, people make comparisons. You know, Lamine Yamal's playing Estevao. Estevao's a great young player. Lamine Yamal's already won the Euros. He's already won the Spanish League. He's won the Spanish Super Cup. You could argue he could have won the Ballon d'Or, but Dembele was a...
And you and I watch him most weeks. We've seen him have absolutely magnificent games week in, week out.
They were 2-0 down in the final Clásico last year, and not quite single-handedly, but he just dragged this Barcelona team back in the Clásico to I think it was 4-3 in the end. Ian was there. It was just magnificent. So he has done it as a youngster. Now, has he gone off the ball a little bit or off the boil slightly? I think the answer is yes. Now, Robbo, you did the game last week against Athletic Club, and he's maybe starting to overcomplicate it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think he's put pressure on himself with all the things that happened with the Spanish team and not going there, and the club haven't helped that. And I just thought, the really good players, and he's a great player, you use the skill and your technique in moments where it matters, in and around the box. He was doing it on the halfway line, getting caught on the ball. A great coach that I played on, John Cartwright, used to say, don't play your ace all the time. Keep it back, and then when you need it, when it's the most important time, then throw your ace down. And that's what I think Yamal's just got to start to do a little bit more.
Well, Darke, you know that we watch Barcelona week in, week out under a magnifying glass with our La Liga coverage. And I think both you and Robbo pointed out the fact that it's not just that they lost against Chelsea in the Champions League. It's how they lost against Chelsea in the Champions League and how other teams, even domestically, have been figuring out a way around them, especially when they can't always outscore all of their opponents. So is Barca's season, both in Europe and domestically, looking like it's a bit in danger?
Maybe not domestically, because I'm not sure too many of the teams in La Liga will be able to exploit them in the way that Chelsea did. But against the top teams coming to the knockout stages of the Champions League, and we assume Barcelona will be in that competition at that stage, I think they're going to have a problem, because people are going to play pacey types against them who'll just get in behind and exploit that. I mean, and there was one quite worrying bit, wasn't there, where Neto was in a foot race with Kubasi and completely left him for dead. So, is the recovery speed there as well when you're playing that high line? Yeah, I mean, it's something for Hansi Flick to think about, but I think he's thought about it and he's going to stick with exactly the way they play.
Just going to pick up on something Darke said there, and we were talking about it before the show. Remember, they lost 4-1 to Sevilla, and Sevilla were just cutting them open at will. And the game that you and I watched, Celta Vigo, the first half, it was some of the worst defending. So even teams in La Liga, as Stevie Nicol called it, Keystone, even teams in La Liga are now finding ways, the lower teams are finding ways to break them down.
The Sevilla game was earlier in the season, wasn't it? And it was equally as embarrassing. And you thought, well, that's the eye-opener. That's the moment.
If Sevilla are doing it against you, you've got a problem.
That's the moment where they're squeezing up and others are on. You think, right, okay, it's not wholesale changes, but it has to be some subtle changes, and they haven't. And then you have Hansi Flick coming out. And I don't know Hansi Flick. I never met the guy. But I like watching these teams play. If I'm a neutral.
Oh, it's great entertainment.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
But when you're hiring and firing and you're under pressure, and you always are in Spain, as you are in most countries, particularly when you're at the big clubs, then you got to get the results. And the fact that he came off the international break and said, if we play, this would worry me. If we play like how we played against Celta Vigo, will we fine the rest of the season? No. No. Yes, you scored goals against Celta Vigo, but you were horrendous at the back. Absolutely horrendous. Now, the one saving grace that they've got is Real Madrid are equally as poor, it seems, and have their own issues, which I won't really get into. So there's nobody there's not like an Arsenal at the moment, or like normally you get in France, a PSG who are off and running. I know it's a little bit tighter in France this year with Marseille and one or two others, but there's nobody out there just putting 7, 8, 9, 10 wins on the spin. That would really crank the pressure on. So they have that to be thankful for. But if he doesn't sort this defence out, A, I don't think he'll win La Liga, and B, they've not got a cat and hell's chance of winning the Champions.
And just remember, you can watch every La Liga game on ESPN+.
On ESPN+. And
it's so bad, these two teams.
You can't, no, it's so bad. But they make things entertaining at least, right?
It's great entertainment, yeah.
It's great entertainment,
indeed. Well, we shouldn't sit here and say they're great, because you were in Elche, Darke was doing the commentary, and they were horrendous.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they were absolutely horrendous. And Barcelona,
but it makes for great entertainment at the moment.
Well,
for the neutral.
For the neutral.
It was a really good. It was a really good game that day down in Alicante, and Elche played some great stuff. As you guys know, you were there. Arguably should have won the game, but yeah, the fact that they have their deficiencies are something worth.
Oh, of course,
discussing.
Absolutely.
We would not be doing our job if we just buried it under the carpet. We said, yeah, Real Madrid and Barca did great as sinks and sliced bread. No, they are not. But the other point is what we were talking about earlier is come February, March, April. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but they may have figured something better out and be in a much better position. akin to what we're
Or
talking
we
about.
could be ending up with Hansi Flick gone and so Xabi Alonso gone at some point if they don't get results in the Champions League and don't get results in the
And
La
Arne
Liga.
Slot gone. I mean,
Yeah,
who's
that could be every.
Who's gonna be around?
Alonso to Liverpool.
Alonso to Liverpool, I tell you what. Darke?
Or Hansi Flick to Liverpool. What Stuart forgot to mention is, in his big promo for ESPN Plus, all 380 games in La Liga are on ESPN.
And half of them commentated by Ian Darke. So, there we go.
I mean, come for Ian Darke, stay for the football and the entertainment.
I mean, if I was guessing, I'd say there's contracts coming up for renewal.
It looks like he's got athletic club's shirt on behind him.
They're
Isn't it?
probably not going to get renewed, though.
Oh, we will always
come on, we
renew your
can't have
contract.
that, Darke, come on.
La Liga coverage without Darke's voice? Come on. Is that even La Liga anyways? Well, speaking of La Liga, it is back this weekend. Robin, which game are you on?
I'm on Sevilla versus Real Betis.
All right.
3:15 English time.
And are you with Darke?
No, I'm not with Darke. I'm with Rob Palmer.
No. All right, well, tune in on
Darke gets
Sunday.
the big one.
Darke gets the big one indeed. We will see exactly what happens this weekend. Barcelona going up against Alaves. And then on Sunday, Girona against Real Madrid. That's 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. You know where.